Hello and welcome to Makespace. My name's Cara. I'm from LoveBristol Church, and Makespace is an online place for makers, for encouragement and blessing, and just reflecting on the spiritual side of life. I'd forgotten what I was going to say there because my stomach was rumbling. And you're welcome, whoever you are, whatever sort of maker you are, whether you're professional or not. And we meet every Monday at this time, 12:30 p.m. And it's now British summertime. Hooray, 12:30 p.m. British summertime. Although I've said that, and we're not actually going to have a live session next week because it's Easter Monday and I'm going to take the week off. So the next session we'll be doing is April the 12th, I think. Not very good at dates. Never mind. But yes, so not next week, but the week after we'll be meeting them. So you're very welcome if this is the first time you've joined us. And if you'd like to take part, there are several ways that you can do that. And one of those ways is by commenting on this post on Facebook or on YouTube. And another way is by sending us a message. So if you've got any prayer requests, anything that you'd like me to pray about, then you can get in touch and send me a message. And also, if you'd like to take part, if you'd actually like to do an interview, be interviewed on Makespace, then I'd really love to hear from you. I absolutely love meeting new people, and especially when they're makers, and to find out what they're doing and just give them a bit of encouragement and support. So if that's you, then you can get in touch with me and I'll let you know what you need to do about being interviewed. That would be fantastic. So how are you doing today? I hope you're good. I hope you're well this Monday morning. I'm slightly lower down than I was last week because I've changed my chair because it was creaking too much. And I wanted to show you my new addition to the pegboard behind me. So I've got to lean the right way. I get confused because it's the camera's opposite. Can you see my star on the pegboard? That's a purchase. It's what I bought from a friend called Matt, and he runs wild. Hold on a minute. I'll tell you what. I'll put up the thing and then I'll get it right, won't I? Rather than, yeah, here we are. Olive Garden Woodcraft. He runs Olive Garden Woodcraft, and he makes all sorts of lovely things out of wood. And he made me this star. So thanks very much, Matt. There we go. So yeah, it's the clocks have changed. Hooray! It's now lighter. I'm feeling much better. That the evenings are lighter. I don't know about you, but I find it hard during the winter when it's darker, and it's really good to have a bit more light again in the evenings. So what have we got lined up for today? Well, we've got our usual meditation. We've got a chat with a maker, and this week it's Doug Anderson, and he's going to talk to us about his painting, and then we'll have a creative prompt and a blessing. So we'll get straight on with the meditation time. Now, if you joined me earlier on in Makespace, I've got a feeling it was week 1 or week 2, we did a session on what if, and the fact that when you're creative, you often ask that question, what if? Well, we're going to do some different what ifs this week because we're going to be talking about daring to hope. And daring to hope is about asking those questions and daring to believe that something could be better than it is already. So that's the subject of our meditation this morning. So I'm going to put up an image on the screen, and make yourselves comfortable, and then I'll read us through the meditation. So here we go. Let me find the picture. Yeah. So what if? What if things could be better than they always have been? What if there was a way through where my path is blocked? What if there was a way to answer the questions that tug at me, demanding inconvenient answers. What if I could find joy in this moment? Be free from the future and the past. What if I didn't have to compete and compare, but could just rest? What if what I've done no longer matters, but who I am means more than I dare realise? What if I were brave enough to dream and see those dreams through to completion? What if abundance was an open door? What if there was comfort in the midst of my hurt and when I'm not feeling sure? What if peace and joy were strong enough to prevail against my barricades and false security? What if complete restoration, rather than emotional polyfiller, was a realistic possibility? What if I could find myself in losing myself and putting others first? What if there was something worth giving up everything for? What if I could hear the calling of my name by one who chooses me, who cherishes me, by one who cheers and accepts me? What if I had the courage to ask, what if? Let's just pause for a moment and be still and quiet. And you might like to think about one of those what if statements that stood out to you. Or you might have others of your own that you want to just reflect on. And when the time finishes, I'm going to read something from the Bible. I am the gateway. To enter through me is to experience life, freedom, and satisfaction. A thief has only one thing in mind. He wants to steal, slaughter, and destroy. But I have come to give you everything in abundance, more than you expect, life in its fullness, until you overflow. There you go. I hope you enjoyed that. That was Jesus talking. He actually promises life in abundance, and he can be the answer to some of those what if questions that we've got. Now, if you've caught the broadcast on previous weeks, you'll know that at this time, sometimes what I do is I share with you some pictures that I've had while I've been praying. And just to explain about those, sometimes what happens when I'm praying is that I get a mental image of something, and it's God speaking to me for somebody. And so I share those things in the hope that it will impact somebody that's watching. So the pictures I've got to share today, there's 3 of them. Let me just find my notes so I remember. The first one was a chocolate chip cookie, always a good thing in my book. And, you know, a chocolate chip cookie would not be a chocolate chip cookie without the chocolate chips. And they are the lumpy bits in the cookie. but they actually make the cookie what it is. It wouldn't be a chocolate chip cookie without the chocolate chips. And so what I felt that God wanted to say through this is that there's somebody who wrestles a bit with their lumpy bits, and maybe they feel that the lumpy bits in them aren't actually very helpful. But I feel that what God's saying to you is he's encouraging you that your lumpy bits make you who you are, and they're actually part of your identity, and they're better than you think they are. So that's the first one. And the second one, still on a food theme, but this time a bit more healthy, cucumbers. What I what I had was a picture of a cucumber frame. So that was the support structure that was growing, helping to grow the cucumbers. And in this one, I felt that the message behind it was that you're somebody that needs to accept help and support in order to grow. And by accepting that support, it will actually enable you to be stronger and healthier and to resist disease. So that's something you might want to think about. And the third one was a picture of a coal hod, i.e. something that you put coal in front of the fire to store it in order to put it on the fire. Now the thing with this, it's not very glamorous to start with, but it serves a very useful purpose in carrying the coal from where you keep it in order to put it on the fire. And just let me look at my notes. I think the thing that speaks to me about this is that God wants you to be the thing that carries the fuel for somebody else's fire. Now, you might say that you want, that you've been perhaps wrestling with the fact that it's not your own fire, and that you wanted to, you wanted the fire for yourself. But I feel like God's saying to you that you'll find fulfillment in being in the right position and providing that fuel for somebody else, and that he has put you in the right position in order to be able to carry the fuel for the fire for somebody else. So again, just something to think about. If it doesn't strike you, that's fine, but if it does, then maybe, or you could message me and I'd love to pray for you, or if that's something that you just like to speak to God about, just have a go, see what happens. All right, what should we do next? Oh yes, we'll do our interview, and this week it's Doug, so let me put him on. Oh, I've got some comments, let me just see who's that. Oh, Ruth and Neve. Hi Ruth and Neve, lovely to see you. I hope you're both okay. So then let's put Doug on. Here he goes. Hi, well, today's guest is Doug, and he's going to tell us a little bit, hi Doug, about what he does, and we're going to talk about his work. So over to you, Doug. Tell us a bit about
yourself. Hi guys, my name's Doug. I am in my 40s, and I recently, when I say recently, probably about 10 years ago, just started painting. And my favorite form of painting right now is acrylic. So tried different mediums, but for some reason acrylic seems to be the thing that I like the fast drying nature of it. And so that's one of the forms of creativity that I do, and I really enjoy it.
So what made you start out doing it?
I think it's a long story. I mean, my uncle is a painter, and there was certain elements of our family not connecting, and through a bit of reconciliation, and I suddenly realized, oh wait, that's part of the family I was shutting down, and that included my uncle, and it coincided serendipitously, is that the right word? To some neighbors who were painting, and they asked me, but I had I was sharing this community house, and in the background I could always see a bit like the wave I've got behind me. I could just check this wave on the wall, and I was like, oh, I have to paint this a wave on that wall. There needs to be a wave on the wall. And one of the guys who was living with me at the time was a painter, and I kept on asking him, "Do you want to paint something? I just see a wave on the wall." And then he turned around to me the one day and just said to me, Doug, why don't you just go and paint with those girls next door and paint it yourself? And so I did, and within this was in the States when I was over there studying, and I did, and that painting sold for $400 within a day or two. So like it was just, when you just suddenly stumble across something which is latent talent maybe, and I just really really enjoyed the process, and then from there it was a thing of like, canvas paint, canvas paint, canvas paint, and then someone gave me all their brushes, and then someone gave me all their, because people see something of something coming alive, so they just like give you more, and it's like the next thing I had all of this stuff which I couldn't actually bring back to the UK when I left the States, but yeah.
Oh, that's really interesting. Thanks.
Yeah, it's cool.
So let's have a look at some of the pieces you've painted then.
Cool.
How about this one?
So that's a recent commission one, for my sister-in-law, and it's I tried to get the lion to not look scary, because some lions can look really scary, but also not to look too like like tamish, but it's sort of this like cross between like almost like this majestic holding one's own sort of posture, and I think that's sort of depicted. It came out okay, and again I'm still learning, so it's a process of hours of playing.
So let's have how about this one?
That was another commissioned for another family friend, and he basically asked me to paint a shepherd with a flock, and I just layers. That's actually that probably is my longest piece I've ever painted. Probably about 40.
How long it took you?
Yeah, how long it took me.
Yeah.
So the previous one took me about 4 or 5 hours. This one took me about 40 hours to paint, and I just loved I was trying to get the real Middle Eastern way of leading sheep, where they lead from the front with the voice rather than from the back with the herding the sheep. But they this real sense of and then just color and playing around with perspectives, and it was good fun.
Yeah, I think that really works well, actually, that one. I like the composition of that one. It's cool.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And that's actually an oil. So
yeah.
Okay. That was good fun.
And that one?
Well, that was inspired by a book I read, which is called The Elephant Whisperer. I'm from South Africa originally, and there's a guy who basically made friends with a herd of elephants, and there was this one elephant which really they had an amazing bond, even to the point where he would travel overseas, and when he came back, and as he landed in the country in Johannesburg, the elephant would know that he was in the country. And that's insane.
I think we'll make this one the last one. How about this one?
Okay, cool. I've always had a real fascination for it's just, again, all these are just playing with different colors, different light, different textures, and I have a real sense for adventure and a sense of for color. I love color. I love the use of color, and this was just playing around with what it looked like with color, but then also the stars are spray canned on, so so just different texture, and just the thing of movement. How do you create a ship moving? So there's a sense of moving, but also a sense of horizon, skyline, and the universe.
Yeah, I think the color is very adventurous in that one, actually. It's really good. So what do you find gives you the most joy about creating, Doug?
I think just the fact is there's no shortage of creativity. You can create anything you want. As if you can dream it and you can think it, you can make it. I find connection with it's going to sound weird, but really find connection with God when I paint, and there's something about a real sense of stillness, a sense of peace that comes over me. And I always try and include God into the process, and hence why most of my stuff's around creation. I've got a real fascination for, again, color and light and how that affects, and why one thing you can take for a photograph in one thing and it doesn't look good, and then in the right light and the right angle, suddenly it looks good. And then also the whole thing, the process of failure, like when you fail, when you make a mistake. Often, for me, the time when I make a mistake is actually the opportunity for something new to emerge. And as long as I can push through that process of failure, I can come to a new place of creativity. And actually, often once you push through multiple times, you come to a place where it's like, wow, that's even better than I even thought it would ever be. But I've trashed canvas before, got mad with canvas, and chucked it in the rubbish bin. And but equally, I've used, you go for I've scrubbed out paintings and then repainted over and then scrubbed back down, and then because I haven't been trained orthodoxly. Mine's very much a learning, sporadic, experimental process.
You might have answered this already. What's challenging for you about creating?
I think challenging, it's probably time. Time is a big one. Finding the time. I think also finishing. Maybe that's, as a creative, I like to create a new idea, and then the finishing process. My wife is she's German, so there's a real sense of like excellence which she wants to be done, and so she'll push me to that point where it's not just good, it's great, it's amazing.
So do you mind if I pray for you before you go?
Oh, I'd love that. Thank you.
Cool. Okay. Jesus, thank you for Doug. Thank you, Lord, that you have led him to pursue this creativity within him. And Father, thank you that it's been a real journey of exploration for him. And I pray that you continue to help him find you as he discovers more about his own creativity. I pray that you'd bless him in that, Jesus. Thank you for bringing him here today, and we just pray your blessing on him and his family in your name. Amen.
Amen. Thanks.
Appreciate
it. Thanks, Cara.
Yay, there we go. He's a legend, Doug. And I think two of the things that I really like about Doug's interview is, one, that he came to creativity a little bit later on in life and just went for it and has really found an avenue for it in his life. And the other thing is his talk about failure. And I think that's something that we need to come back to at some point, because it's quite a biggie and not something that we always find very easy to deal with. So I think that's definitely worth some more exploration. But thanks very much, Doug. That was great. So let's have a look at our prompt for this week. Well, let's just remind ourselves of what we did last week first. This one was about finding someone on social media and encouraging them. And that's what it's all about for me. I did spend some time doing it, not as long as I would have liked. So there were a couple of people that I messaged, but it's something that I really want to make a habit of and get in the routine of doing more often, because I think it's just so valuable, and we all need encouragement, don't we? So, and for this week, we've got this one. Choose your superpower. What would it be, and how would you use it? I love this picture. I love the picture of the dog. It's cool. And so it might sound a little bit more out there to think about what your superpower is, but just go with it and see what happens when you think about what you might like to do, because it might actually say something to you about something going on for you. So it might actually speak to you in some way, and there may be something that you can do to move towards that. So have fun thinking about that one, and I'll let you know what I've come up with next week. Okay, so we've nearly come to the end of another session. Thanks very much for joining us. Thanks for the comments. Thanks for the encouragement in the comments. That's really kind of you. And before we go, we'll have a blessing. But just to remind you as well that we won't be live again next week because it's Easter Monday, but we'll be here the following week on April the 12th. So I hope you all have a good week this week, and think about giving some time to your creativity this week, making some time for it, because it's good to do it and you're worth it. So it is allowed to spend time creating. So before we finish, let me just bless you. I'm going to read this blessing that I wrote earlier. So bless us with bravery in our dreaming, that we might be able to see new hope. Bless us with open doors of new opportunity. Bless us in our creating, that we might honour the great Creator. Bless us with healing as we realise who we really are in the light of love. Bless us with the sight to see all that is really important in this life and beyond. Bless us in being ourselves and the realization that we don't need to compete. Bless us in our reaching out to others and our connections. Bless us in our comings and goings, in our working and in our resting. Bless us as we move closer to the truth and beauty that is found in you. There you go. I hope you enjoyed it. And I just speak blessing over you this week. Have a really good week, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.